God damn it, Danny.
I got nothing.
You know what? I'm gonna act like Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, we'll just do it live. Fuck it.
Oh, go off on everyone.
This is bullshit.
On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, the Democratic March to Oblivion, Remington shutters Bushmaster, the Virginia all-weapons ban, and Lieutenant Colonel not promotable.
Good morning, everybody. This is Danny, Marky, and Freeze. This is episode 161 of the John 1911 podcast, and we're already fighting about Samsung versus iPhone this morning. So Freeze has a phone that doesn't work half the time.
No bullshit.
He's defensive about it.
My phone's off. It works 100% of the time.
It works 100%, 60% of the time.
Yeah, okay.
Still early for this.
Sounds like some 1911s I know. So
shit, that's the truth.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm not saying that some of those 1911 magazines with that 9mm Ed Brown are bad, but it definitely brings back some memories. It's like, man, it's like, oof, there's some crap going on there. So all right. So we've gone about a week without a podcast, and there's been so much stuff going on, and chief political correspondent Danny is chomping at the bit to talk about. He's been texting me and blowing me up. We're going to talk about, I guess, before we go into the industry stuff and gun stuff, I guess we'll touch on the acquittal of the president, the State of the Union, Sondman and Vindman getting the frog march out of the list.
The walk of shame.
Yeah, they're probably over at the old executive office building, but they walked out of the White House, compound, and all. So what's happened last night since we all went to bed and Freeze is working, Danny? What's going on?
Well, do you want to go in reverse order from the debate, or you want to go in chronological, starting with the acquittal? Which way you want to go?
I have a confession. You were sending me text messages last night, and you were like, "Oh my God, the debate! They're attacking each other so much for unity." I'm literally like, "Oh, are they debating tonight?" I mean. Well, I cannot get into these Democratic debates. Give me the highlights. Did somebody do a Tulsi Gabbard on somebody last night?
Well, Biden couldn't believe in Iowa he finished fourth behind a part-time Indian, a gay guy, and a communist. Did
he say that? Did he question the results?
Yeah, that's why the Democrat National Committee wrote a stern letter to the Iowa Democratic Committee saying they want all the results recalculated and recounted because they don't, basically what it is they don't like the outcome.
But so was this accusation brought up last night at the debate?
That booty gag guy who won Iowa?
Oh God, booty gag.
What the hell? I mean, does anyone even know who this guy is?
Buttigieg. I can't say his name. Buttigieg.
Mayor Pete.
He's Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Well, dude, here's the awesome part. I was typing his name into my phone to Danny, and it actually auto-spelled his name. They have updated the spelling in the systems on the iPhones to spell his name.
No, does that really surprise you? The freaking communist phone company updates the leading Iowa Democrat. Whew, no shocker there.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, of all the phones out there, you can say a lot of shit about Apple, but they're definitely not a communist. They're definitely not a communist company. Steve Jobs came in and was like, quit giving free shit to all these people. We're done with this crap.
Always remember, though, there's virus air in your package and those air bubbles if you get anything from China.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It's just like don't pop your bubble wrap because it's Chinese air.
What are you? Is that real?
No, it's a joke going around because, all bubble wrap's made in China, and with the coronavirus, it's just bubble wrap, it's Chinese air inside the bubbles.
I hadn't heard that. But you know what? That's true.
It is true. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get the coronavirus if you're popping bubble wrap, but hey, if your hobby's popping bubble wrap, maybe you deserve the coronavirus.
Dude, if there's somebody with coronavirus standing around the bubble wrap machine going, yeah, it's like that old joke, like when they open Common's tomb and like you're getting air from like 3,000 years ago, and like you could release a virus or a disease.
Is that virus an airborne pathogen? Have they ever found out?
Last I heard, they were talking. First, they were saying it was a bat virus, and then you were hearing it was a snake virus, or maybe it was snake first, then bat. Now Chinese officials have come out. I guess they've done some epidemiological testing and zoological testing. I don't know what word it would really be, but they're saying it's like some kind of they're pretty certain it's come from some kind of like anteater looking thing. This thing looks like a little like 2-foot long triceratops. That's like an anteater, but it's like it's like, oh God. And like these people eat this shit, I mean, look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to end up being like Gayle King and ruining my career. But it's like, are we all just like getting fucking tired of China and like their nasty shit? I mean, it's like all these diseases come out of there because they are dirty and they do this dirty crap. They don't cook their food. They eat this shit half raw. And, it's like, I mean, there's a direct correlation between the coronavirus and like poaching in Africa. Yeah, I mean, seriously, like these people, it's like this huge business in China. And like they go, like when, I mentioned this on one of our social media sites, everybody freaked the fuck out over the dentist in Detroit that shot Simba or whatever that lion's name was.
Yeah.
Dude paid $50,000 for that, fully licensed, fully tagged, managed hunt, and, did all that. But that wasn't poaching. And, that actually benefits everything. When they arrest poachers in Africa, it's always the brokers and the money people are always these Chinese people. I remember a couple years ago, they arrested this woman. She was the largest broker for poachers in Africa. She's Chinese. She'd been there for like 20 years because they they chop all these horns off and use them.
Oh man, the Chinese are notorious for coming up with this holistic boner pill medicine. They figure grind up rhino horn and take rhino horn dust and it'll give you a big hard fucking 3-inch Chinese boner. And I mean, I'm not joking about that. That's true. The Chinese are big on that stupid shit. And they're killing they're illegally killing these animals because there's a huge market in China for that stupid shit.
Well, here's the thing. It's the same industry that's causing this stuff. Like these people, like apparently this anteater thing is, I guess, endangered. Like it's like they're like supposedly like all these people that sell all this raw shit in these meat markets, exotic taste meat markets all over China. And it's not just China, it's China, Vietnam, certain parts of probably Thailand too, anywhere where there's like a heavy historical Chinese influence. And it's all this crazy shit. They just busted, like, what was it, the Customs and Border Patrol just busted a shipment coming out of like South America into like Miami, and it was 400 shark fins, just the fins, and it's like, and they think they were heading to China.
Yeah, are those an aphrodisiac?
It's something I don't know if it was they were going to use it. It's you can never tell. Like the fucking spider penis helps fucking evidence.
Okay, yeah, but
you can never tell what it's for.
If you go into any drugstore, I mean Walmart, any store that sells vitamins and and what I call the holistic bullshit, bee pollen and whatever, you can always find like shark cartilage pills and fish oil and all that kind of shit. And I mean, there's a big market for vitamins and supplements. And honestly,
well, there's a big difference between some like a business conducting itself and not wasting stuff and poaching. Like, that these assholes in South America, all they fucking did is they threw out nets and bait and they captured these sharks, cut their fins off, and just dumped the carcasses in the fucking ocean. That is not hunting. That is not wildlife management. That's poaching.
That's not even marketing, because shark meat is actually a market that you can capitalize on. Like, for example, I know you've thought I was joking about this for years. The only thing I'm allergic to is shark.
And I remember you saying that.
What's that?
I remember you saying that, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't take fish oil because, like, here in the United States, the vitamin and supplement market is not regulated by the FDA. Mm-hmm. And they can pretty much claim and do whatever they want. Well, when they're getting shark cartilage in for their shark cartilage pills, don't tell me they don't squeeze the freaking juices out of it to use in fish oil. And I can't take the risk of taking fish oil because there's no real accountability behind it.
It's true.
And if they put any shark squeezings in fish oil and I take it, that's a bad thing for me because I'm allergic to shark. Go freaking figure.
Yeah, but that's a big difference between, I mean, again, they're not regulating what they're putting on the bottle, but they're not poaching this shit.
No, that's true.
But this coronavirus stuff is directly related to the poaching in Africa and like the shark fucking fins out of goddamn South America and the ivory trade and like all this crazy shit. Like, what was it? They're having problems in national parks. Like, these people go out and like, what are they? Is it ginseng or something? They hunt for it.
Yeah,
ginseng's
a big market.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's not ginseng. It's something like that, like something root ginseng. It's some bullshit thing like that. But what happens is these people, they go out into these national parks and I guess they know how to, like, the east side of the tree. I don't know how they find it, but then they take it to some broker because it's all contraband, and they ship it off to China.
That's ginseng, yes.
And it's a big black market in the U.S. And it's just like, I don't know if we have it at the range, but like we would have to like make sure we don't fucking see people trespassing looking for it.
Actually, we do have ginseng on the range, and I can, next time we're out there, I can show you what ginseng looks like. Because I have ginseng. I have ginseng in the woods behind my house.
Yeah, it may not be. It may not be ginseng. Whatever it is, I think they dig it out of the ground. Whatever it is, not
ginseng. It's the root of the plant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, here's the question I have. Did you see where 3 different cruise lines now have 10 to 30 cases of this coronavirus established? These cruise ships are being held in check, and they're not letting the passengers off up to 16 days. So you're stuck on this cruise ship, not being able to get off for an extra 16 days. So my question is, will the United States FDA or government stop imports from China until they find out what this really is?
I think Trump, I think they've already, I know some of these companies, some of the problems they're having is I think some of these factories in China are no longer operating. Like, it's like, you can't even, it's like, well, it's like, you don't have the choice, because it's like, whatever widget you're getting made in China, the fucking factory's not making it because they're all fucking hiding.
Well, did you see the doctor that reported the virus was found dead in China?
You know what? The thing is, and you see stuff like that, the problem with China is, dude, this is true, You have to wonder if they just killed that fucker.
That's what first thought I had.
I mean, I hate this be like one of these like Zapruder film, fucking people has to look at every frame of the tragedy, but it's like, China's nuts.
So what you're saying is China Epsteined this guy.
The cameras were off. The guards went on break.
Yeah. And the bad news is when the morticians went out for lunch and he cremated himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just like the Supreme Court judge before they did the autopsy.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess we'll touch on it. Dan, is there anything going on like with politics that like we about to have a civil war? Like, what did anything happen last night that I didn't know about this morning?
Well, the Democrats at the debate were trying to make the Vindman brothers martyrs. Yes, they were.
You mean okay? You mean Lieutenant Colonel not promotable?
Him and his lawyer twin brother that worked in the White House.
Are they both like colonels?
That's what I had heard. But at one point last night during the debate, Biden asked the audience to stand and clap for all that support Vindman and not Trump's actions.
No.
Well, of course, it's at a Democrat debate. What do you expect you're going to get?
Look. That's probably the only round of applause that Biden got all night. I mean, he's so like, it's like when Jeb Bush looked at the crowd and was like, "Please clap." And they were like, "Okay, are we supposed to clap now?" It was terrible. It's like, oh my god, dude. Let me tell you what. So, okay, here's what I do know because I do follow inside the campaigns. Yang fired most of his people after Iowa because of his sports shooting. Right, Yang's running out of money. I guess Klobuchar's staying in. They expected if she didn't do well in Iowa, she would get out. But she's mainstream enough that they're basically keeping her alive. The word is Biden's running out of money. Biden has no money. And if Biden doesn't get some big donors to help him, he didn't do well in Iowa. Already yesterday, the Biden campaign came out and is downplaying expectations for New Hampshire. Mind you, he's from up there. He's from Delaware, I think. And it's like, well, wait a minute, dude. I mean, it's like you couldn't do dick in Iowa. You're not going to do dick in New Hampshire. I don't think he's going to make it to South Carolina.
Well, did you also see where some of Warren's staffers quit because of the way that she was treating them?
I heard about that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was out of Nevada, right? Nevada.
Right.
Warren, it was, and that's a sign too that what that really is was when you have staffers that are going public and being like, "Where the fuck out of here?" They're looking for jobs. They're jumping ship. Warren's in trouble. I don't know what her money situation's like. I think she may have more money than Biden right now. I'm not certain on that, but she might. Okay, so let me ask you this, Chief Political Correspondent Danny. Who's going to come out of New Hampshire? Who do you think's going to get the nomination on the Democratic side of the ticket?
New Hampshire or overall?
Overall. Well, who's going to come out of New Hampshire, and what's going to happen on the who's winning right now on the Democratic side? Who's winning?
Sanders.
Sanders is winning. Okay.
But here's the thing: the Democrats don't want him. He is not mainstream enough. The Democrats do not want Sanders. So you talk about the Sharks, I look for them to start feeding the other Democrats on Sanders and to promote Mayor Pete, believe it or not, as their most mainstream candidate because of his showing in Iowa. And if he gets first or second in New Hampshire, Biden's gone. They'll turn on Sanders and all the others will be after Rand's.
Well, I agree with that assessment generally. The Sanders campaign first of all, Sanders is. I mean, the Democrats, they started releasing Oppo research on Sanders right before Iowa. You started seeing, the coming, like they're talking about like his honeymoon in Russia and singing the song, and that wasn't coming out from Republicans. That was coming out from Democrats. But here's the thing: Sanders is holding the Democratic Party hostage. And I don't think a lot of people on the Republican side realize this, at least voters, like people that like us that like, read Fox News and stuff. Sanders has the same power that like Ross Perot had and all these other insurgent candidates. Basically, his position is, you fuckers better treat me right and do me right, or I'm going to take all of my voters and we're just going to leave. That's the thing. Sanders voters could just get up and walk, and that would totally decimate the Democratic Party. Their ability, like if all the Sanders voters get pissed off at the Democratic Party and they feel like that they robbed it from Bernie and they sit out the election, I mean, there is like a mathematically zero chance they're going to win at that point.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what they did in 2016, though.
Yeah.
A lot. He did play spoiler.
I mean,
Ross
Bernie
Perot
beat
did.
Hillary.
Yeah, Ross Perot did.
Yes, he did. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's what Ross Perot did. And frankly, in 2016, I mean, Bernie beat Hillary every which way you can think of. And they still gave it to Hillary. And frankly, all the Bernie voters just went the fuck home.
Who's the stalking horse on the Democratic Party? Like, who's their emergency candidate, Danny? Do you know?
Well, don't forget another scenario, Bloomberg. If they screw Bernie around, what's to say he won't form an allegiance with Bloomberg?
Well, here's the thing. Well, I can tell you why. Bloomberg is actually Bloomberg, first of all, didn't even campaign in Iowa. He was like, fuck you bitches, I'm just going to spend money. There were two theories on Bloomberg. The first theory was he just wanted to run down Trump and help kind of like bring everybody across the finish line. But so he was going to spend money as like a super PAC because he's got $50 billion, right? And so if he runs as a candidate, he gets a better ad buy. He gets cheaper rates because it's set by the Federal Election Commission, that everybody pays the same rate, and it's less than market rate for run ads. And so he was like, if I could declare my candidacy, I can get a better ad buy because he's going to spend $1 billion probably or more. Yeah. Well, now the thinking is he seems to be in this. He's spending he's running ads everywhere. He's running ads during the Super Bowl. Apparently, I didn't watch it. And the thinking is that he's in it to stop Biden, to stop Bernie, to stop AOC, to stop, in many ways, to stop Elizabeth Warren. Because they're all scared. Elizabeth Warren's still basically a communist, and basically they're thinking he's going to go to the convention. The convention is going to be a zoo. It's going to be a brokered convention because they changed all the rules after they fucked Bernie. So basically, after the first round of voting at the convention with the delegates, they can do whatever they want. I don't think the super delegates can I don't remember how their super delegate system works, but they had super delegates, which is how Hillary got the nomination. And they're basically saying Bloomberg's plan is to step in at the convention and be like, y'all crazy. The commies, you're not going to nominate a commie. You're probably going to lose this fucking election. So nominate me. I have a ton of fucking money. I'm a normal person. I'm not going to turn the country communist. You're going to love me on guns. And let's just do this and see what happens. And they may do it. And here's the thing: if they do that, the Democratic convention, there will be violence up there. That's the real fear. Nobody's talking about it yet.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Bloomberg certainly has the money, but I don't see. I mean, look, I don't see Bloomberg being able to beat Trump. I just don't see it.
Well, if anything, because of his Second Amendment stance.
Yeah, I'm not saying Bloomberg. I mean, I'm not saying
This is a guy who banned 20-ounce Cokes in New York City.
That's true too. And stop and frisk.
You know what? I wasn't clear on what I was saying. So here's the problem. The Democratic Party has been playing footsie with the communists for about 30 years. And they've always had a pinko streak in them. And now after the Cold War ended, and we're no longer have to worry about the pinkos coming over the fucking Arctic Circle with their nuclear weapons, everybody's become much more socialist friendly. And the Democratic Party has been playing footsie with these people, trying to get their votes and like telling them that, yeah, we're going to do this and do that. And we're going to do the class warfare and we're going to do the, rob from the rich and give to the poor. And what's happened is there's now a plurality of these people that are taking over the party. And the people that actually run the Democratic Party are scared shitless. And the real battle is to basically try to keep the Democratic Party from being a D and turn into a C, communist. Yeah. And that's the real battle. And that's what Bloomberg's there to do. And that's, maybe at least get them, because what can happen is if they can derail the commies, if they can derail the AOCs and her bootstrap comments and all these crazy people, then in the next election cycle, they can kind of have this story that they can tell everybody, you can't win, don't fucking run. You can't win, we're not going to give you money.
So what you're saying is they're willing to toss up the election to let Trump win. Not saying to let Trump win, but they're willing to risk the fact that Trump will beat Bloomberg in order to derail the far left's AOC. What do they call that? The Fantastic Four or whatever the fuck they call those bitches in
squad.
I don't know.
The squad.
The squad. I'll tell you what. I like Fantastic Four.
I mean. Whatever the hell. So what you're saying is basically they're losing a battle to win the war, is what you're claiming.
If you look at it from like to quote my favorite ill-spoken president, strategery. You're powerful when you mispronounce a word and they put it in the dictionary. You're a pimp at that point. If you look at their strategery, they don't think Bernie's going to beat Trump. They don't think Elizabeth Warren's going to beat Trump. And so they're like, well, Bloomberg has a better chance of possibly carrying Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin. So, they're like, it's like Napoleon fighting different armies. You have to beat Blucher before you can beat Wellington. You know what I mean? Like they got to fucking, because they know they can't, they know Bernie and the commies are not going to win. And so they're trying to just stop them. The commies are starting to figure it out.
Did you see who had the biggest meltdown with Bloomberg in the race? Elizabeth Warren. Screaming and crying how he's just going to buy his way into the nomination.
Well, yeah, millionaires and billionaires and like all this class warfare shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And how it doesn't represent the true Democrats with all this money.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge problem at the Democratic convention.
Yeah. But I mean, what she's saying is not untrue.
Yeah.
I mean, he is buying his way in. I mean, he's got $50 billion and he's already sworn up and down on a stack of freaking Gideon Bibles that he's probably stolen from every hotel he's ever stayed in, that he will spend $1 billion to defeat Donald Trump. I mean, he's already publicly announced that. And, when you got $50 billion, you can spend $1 billion. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's not hurting. So
no, he's not hurting at all.
Well, one last point on politics before we move to something else. Did you hear where AOC might challenge Schumer for the Senate seat?
No, stop it!
I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was a real report. I thought that was like fake reporting.
No,
really?
That's what I heard.
First off, I'm not even 100% sure that she can get reelected this November in her district for the House. Seriously.
Well, she's blaming Schumer on Trump being acquitted.
Well, hold on, Freeze. Hold on, Freeze. Here's the thing. AOC has gone Hollywood, and everybody knows this. They were predicting if AOC leaves Congress, she's just going to move to California, and she's going to be look. AOC is a superstar. She is. She is a superstar on the left. She absolutely is. They say in private she's pretty nice. They say in private she's pretty amenable. Republicans are saying this. Republicans in Congress are saying actually talking to her and working with her is not. They like her. They like her. Now, she probably
she's
cannot
an
raise
idiot.
enough. She probably that's not the point, dude. Everybody's a fucking idiot. She could theoretically lose in her district because she has to campaign canvass and operate in that district. But she's more of a national player anyway. And if she can raise big money, she can raise huge money. AOC, if she runs for Senate, can raise money from every Democrat across the country to beat Schumer. She could easily raise as much money as he could raise unless he's able to get a sugar daddy like Bloomberg to come in and be like, no, I don't think I'm going to let a commie fucking win this. That bitch could win. She can. That woman is a superstar.
Look, anytime you run for an election, you always have the possibility of winning. I just don't really think I disagree with you on this. I don't think she could beat Chuck Schumer.
Let me make this point. Because you don't live in New York and you didn't recognize this happening. When AOC won in New York, it was such a shock to the Democratic Party because she literally beat a guy that was so high up it was such a safe seat that the guy she beat, excuse me, the guy she beat was in line to possibly be speaker.
Right. He was minority whip.
And here's the thing. She basically, to give Freeze an idea, she basically beat Steve Shabbat. I mean, it was that was like, what the fuck? Like on her side of the aisle. And and there's a lot of dumb people on the left that have bought into this big C commie shit that will give this girl money.
Look, in 2009, Driehaus beat Shabbat. In 2009, the Republicans took a beating. It happens. We were coming off of
2009.
No. What I'm saying is we were coming off of the Obama era, I don't want to get into a deep dive on that, but socialism was big with Obama, blah, 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 whatever. And she beat this guy. What I'm saying is we've had 4 years of Trump. We're kind of getting away from the Obama. Basically, you can be a piece of shit, Black Lives Matter, or, you can hate a cop and everyone fucking loves you. We're getting away from the Obama policies and guess what?
Not in New York, you're not.
Second, hear me out, though. So for 8 years, we had, you can burn down your own fucking city, and Obama will be like, hey, you had the right to fucking do it, and it's goddamn great.
That's right. Okay?
So when she ran, she beat him. But what I'm saying is now, after 4 years of Trump, and after 4 years of her idiocy, because she's a fucking moron, will she get reelected? And that's all I'm saying is I don't think so. I mean, and you know what? I would, if I'm wrong and she beats Chuck Schumer, then I will publicly admit it. But she may be looking to go after Chuck Schumer. They may be floating these trial balloons because they're looking at the numbers in her district. And maybe they're thinking she's not going to win, and it's better to not run and keep her powder dry and her reputation as a winner going and go after somewhere else and move on to become a national candidate. AOC is not going away. Bernie Sanders here's the thing. Bernie Sanders is going away because actuarially he will die. AOC is not going away. AOC will be in our lives for the next 30 years. I disagree with you. I tell you what, I think honestly, 5-6 years from now, someone will mention AOC and you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that crazy commie bitch.
She will either be in the Upper East Side of New York. She'll be in the Upper East Side of New York, running around with her pinky finger out, raising a bunch of money, or she'll be in LA.
We'll see. We'll see.
You know, some Malibu raising a bunch of money.
Maybe
I mean, she's going to be a player.
I mean, maybe we'll see. I disagree with you on this. I don't think she's smart enough to be a team player.
Well, I am
not equating her intelligence with her ability to get elected. Those are two separate. You're convoluting your arguments here. One has nothing to do. She is dumber than a hammered rock, but that is not the point. Her voters love her.
But see, I don't know if they do. I don't know if
New York and California.
Well, but she's not from California. What I'm saying is I don't necessarily know if the voters in her district in New York love her enough to reelect her for another 2 years in the House, is what I'm saying.
If she doesn't stay in Congress, if she chooses to not stay in Congress, what she will do is she will move to California. And she will go on to the whatever gravy train of socialism, and she will be this big cheerleader, and she'll have these rallies, and she'll raise all this money, and she'll be running around endorsing candidates and working as a surrogate like she's doing for Bernie Sanders right now. She's already shown her hand. She's bigger than Congress.
We'll see.
She's bigger than
I totally disagree with you on this 100%, but we'll see what happens. I mean, because
dismissing her is like the left dismissing Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Well,
time will tell. I mean, you could be right. I could be wrong. We'll see.
Marky, if you remember, they also said the same thing about Stacey Abrams. She was going to be the new national player. Do you hear much from her anymore?
Well, but she hasn't actually won anything. She was fake. Stacey Abrams, okay, for the listener that know who that is, Stacey Abrams is a black woman that ran for governor in Georgia, and she ran, and she on paper she's black and a woman and a Democrat and all this, and she's probably super crazy commie liberal, and then she went around Georgia, and they beat, just like Beto O'Rourke, he's the greatest thing ever, and it's like, well, he didn't actually win. Stacey Abrams didn't win in Georgia, and then she's gone around. And since the election, she has claimed that they stole the election from her. She's literally claiming she's the rightful governor, and she's become a toxic turd. That is not AOC. AOC is won. AOC wins.
Yeah. Well, she's won.
AOC, show me where AOC has lost.
AOC has won one time. We'll see if she continues to win, is what I'm saying.
AOC wins the news cycle. I mean, here's the thing. AOC may not stay in Congress. She will be, I'm telling you what, she is going to be a player in Democratic politics for the next 30 years. Because she's gonna be above it all and raise tons of money and give money to her favorite.
See, I mean, and again, I disagree with that assessment. But like I said, time will tell.
Well, I know who's not going to be a player much with the Democrats is Doug Jones of Alabama.
Who?
Oh, hold
on.
He
cut his throat. He cut his throat.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, you know what? We're going to move on because we've gone for a while in politics and all that. We're gonna go ahead and all right. So some industry news. I guess it is coming out. Have you guys heard Remington sent out a notice? I guess after SHOT Show, and they're I guess they bought RSR or whatever it is, but they are. I don't know what the Remington owns anymore. They are shutting down TAPCO, Bushmaster, DPMS, and Freeze, the pain of all pains for 1911 guys. They're shutting down Stormlake barrels.
Oh. But you know what?
Yep. Because
that I hate to hear that. I really do. But it doesn't surprise me because
did they file for Chapter 11?
No, they. I think they've. I think what they're doing is they're looking at these brands that are not making money.
Yeah, what they're they're basically they haven't filed any chapters yet, but what they're doing is they're cutting their losses so they don't have to.
Well, what they're doing is they own multiple businesses. There's other businesses they're still
Oh,
running.
yeah.
They're looking at these brands.
What's that?
They're shutting down brands.
Yeah, what's that whole group called? Shit.
Maybe RS.
I forget.
I don't know what
but
it is.
They have a corporate group name that it covers all the entities, which is TAPCO, Bushmaster, DPMS, and
yeah.
But,
it's changed so many times. I honestly can't keep it. Like, they're going to keep Remington running, Marlin. They're going to keep running. There's a couple other ones that are going to keep running. But like, for example, Stormlake barrels. Dude, in today's age, like, even Kimber, everybody's like on 1911s. Everyone's like, Kimber, if you're going to rebuild a Kimber, you don't replace that barrel. Kimbers make excellent barrels. Who is actually, name a gun company that's making guns where the barrels are shit, like especially handguns. Even high points are accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
A company like Stormlake is dead. I hate to say it like that, but yeah, they're dead.
Is this something that Remington might sell off piecemeal to other corporations?
Look, there is IP. They bought some of this stuff. I think politically they would not sell Bushmaster. I think within the corporate world, Bushmaster, because Bushmaster, like it's got kind of like a pushy name to some people, and there's been some high profile incidents with some guns called Bushmaster, and I think unless someone paid them $1 billion for the name Bushmaster, they would sell it, but it's not worth that. No one's going to pay. Like, they're like, hey, we'll give you $100,000 for the Bushmaster name so we can buy the name. I doubt they'd like something worth it. They're just going to shut it down.
Yeah.
So, there's so many high-end AR makers.
Yeah,
now.
it's kind of like when CZ bought the Dan Wesson name. I don't think you're going to see that too much with Bushmaster.
No, but they're done.
I don't see it. Again, it could happen, but I don't personally, I don't see it. But
no, it won't.
But at the end of the day, I understand they got to do what they got to do to survive. I hate to see it, but man, I tell you what, it's a vicious market out there. It really is. And honestly, the AR market. Okay, so they're going to shut down DPMS. They're going to shut down Bushmaster. Honestly, I don't really think. I think it's a good move on Remington's part because the AR market is so fucking wore out. Dude,
there's too much competition. Like, TAPCO was a low rent brand.
Yeah.
To buy like parts for AKs and SKSs and all that shit. Bushmaster is a low rent AR brand. DPMS is a low rent AR brand. Stormlake Barrels caters to a market that doesn't exist anymore. These are gone.
Yeah, so, no, and honestly, it's from a business point of view, it's probably a solid thing to do because look, if you're living and dying in the AR market today, you're probably more dying than living.
Yeah. Oh, the AR. There's a phrase for that in business. They call it a red ocean versus a blue ocean. And the red ocean, the idea being there's so much death and destruction going on. There's blood everywhere. Yeah. And it's just hard to live in that ocean. And the AR market, if you want to spend a fair amount of money and go out of business, go get in the AR.
Oh, absolutely.
That's terrible.
No,
that's a terrible.
Hey, speaking about guns, something popped over my feed. Some David Cameron thing. What was that?
David Cameron is the former prime minister of the UK, and I don't know what he was doing in New York. He probably's like working at the UN or some, but he's got as a former president. He does have a security detail, and they were flying from New York to London. And I guess
from New York to London or London to New York.
No. They were in New York, and they were flying back to London.
Okay.
And his security detail, I guess went to the loo, as they would say, and left his Glock 17 or multiple weapons in the bathroom
with passports, by the way.
Yeah, well, they have passports, yeah, and he's probably traveling on diplomatic passports.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't even arrest a dude. Like, here's the thing: David Cameron has people with handguns walking around New York City concealed. We can't.
Well, sure.
But here's the thing: somebody went in and saw the gun and was like, "Oh my God, there's a gun in the bathroom!" And they started getting freaking out, and they called the flight crew, and the flight crew came out, and then the captain came out, was like, "Yeah, there's some security here. We returned the guns." And apparently, this guy who like took pictures of these guns and was like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe there's guns on this plane. Oh my God, oh my God!" And they're claiming that they removed the gun. Maybe even they all got off the plane. And then they were surprised when they saw David Cameron's security. They're like, "Oh my God, he was like wearing like jeans and a sport coat. Like, what the fuck is he supposed to look like, the Terminator?" I mean, it's like these pussies just, it's like, oh, it's like that. I thought when I saw that story, I thought about like Hollywood and like Lethal Weapon when the Mel Gibson characters in the squad room, and he unholsters he's checking his Beretta. He looks like a bum, and somebody from across the room goes, "Gun!"
Yeah.
And it's a big, they all have to scream "gun," and it's just like, and there's all these people that are just trained. They think it's the proper thing to do is to freak the fuck out when they see a gun. And it's, it just reminded me of
well,
that.
doesn't his security team get diplomatic immunity anyway, and they can carry those weapons?
Yeah. Yes. They could not be arrested. They were in no danger of being arrested. It was an accident. So basically they either lied to the passenger and told the passenger that they got rid of the guns, or Cameron and his security detail, or maybe, because I would imagine Cameron has more than one dude with him.
Oh, yeah.
That guy got off the plane, and so they're like, "Well, that guy got off the plane with his gun, so there's no more guns here, dummy." And it's like, okay, let's go fly to London.
It's the
now.
stewardess is handing the guy his yellow sheet of paper in row 17. Here you go. You're checking.
Yeah, it's just
We all know what that means.
so dumb. It's just so dumb.
The whole thing was just
crazy.
Well, we've been going about, we haven't been recording for 50 minutes because we were talking off air, and but Danny, did they renew the assault weapons ban, or did they pass an assault weapons ban in Virginia?
The all weapons ban, from what I heard, that
the all weapons ban. That is going to be the title.
The AWB, the all weapons ban. You like that, huh? That's my acronym.
I do.
Maybe I should market that. But anyway, from what I had read, several parts of it are still trying to be pushed through by the governor and his cronies. Yeah, how far they're going to take this, I don't know. But either way, it's going to end up the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think there's going to, the real danger, my position has always been that, they can pass whatever they want. But the real danger is, as soon as somebody actually gets jammed up on one of these laws, that's when there's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hey, Ray, and and here's the thing, and this is what I always said: it's not going to be super clean. It's going to be hard. It's because this is how it always is. It's not going to be like, some little old grandmother with her J-frame revolver on her way to church, and she gets arrested for carrying a gun or having a magazine larger than 10 rounds or something on her. It'll be a dude who's interfacing with law enforcement that's probably an unsympathetic person, and then he gets arrested on other charges, and then they charge him. And statistically, it's most likely always going to be a him. Sorry, with like assault weapons charges, because it turns out he's got other stuff, and that's going to be a toughie because it's not going to be super clean. And when people start getting arrested and charged, what are all these groups going to do? Are they going to like if you get a guy who's busted on dope charges, but also facing assault weapons charges in Virginia, are you going to show up at the courthouse or show up at the jail and bust his ass out? And then, what if he turns out to be an unsympathetic non-white person? It's like, whoa, you don't care about fucking black people getting fucking jammed up. I'm telling you, this is super interesting how this is going to go down. I mean, it's just going to be real. It's going to be real interesting.
At least until the next election in Virginia.
Now, speaking of which, Big Jimmy, the governor of West Virginia, held a press conference. And if those of you who don't know their history, West Virginia broke away from Virginia during the Civil War, and Congress created a law that basically enabled West Virginia to break away, because West Virginians.
They seceded.
Did we talk about this on the last podcast?
Yes, we did. Or 2 podcasts ago.
Did we talk about the governor actually extending the invitation?
I didn't hear that.
No, I don't think so.
Big Jim, the governor of West Virginia, came out, actually had a press conference, and was like, they were like, hey, if you're not happy in being in Virginia, come on down. We'd love to have you, as many as you want. And apparently, when Congress passed this law to allow Virginia counties to secede to West Virginia, there's apparently no limit on it.
Really?
It can theoretically. I think the process is like they have to go to the state, they have to go to the county boards and have a vote. Yeah. And I think possibly like the governor has to sign off on it, which he would never do, the governor of Virginia. Yeah. But it's interesting how that could still happen.
Speaking about West Virginia, do you think Manchin hung himself?
What did Manchin do?
He voted to convict Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Manchin did. No, he didn't.
Yes.
Did he?
Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, him and Doug Jones
did. He? I did not know Manchin. I expected Manchin would not.
No. Look, Manchin. Do I think he hung himself with that vote? No, I don't. Because look, everyone knows Manchin is a fucking waffle. I mean, he's a Democrat, but he likes Republicans, but he's a Democrat. Everyone. Look, the truth is, anyone who knows Joe Manchin knows how he votes. And look, I don't think this is going to hurt him because it's typical Joe Manchin. I mean, it really is.
Joe Manchin comes from the school of John McCain. And actually, Joe Manchin was like John McCain's little butt buddy. And like he was going to be the guy in the middle that could like be the power player. Like, should I vote left or should I vote right? And I'll tell you what, look, Joe Manchin, in his defense, he won re-election this last time around in West Virginia, and they campaigned hard to beat his ass, and he won. And West Virginia's become true. It's become true. Is it blue red for Republicans?
Red for Republicans.
And because when I was a kid, it used to be red for the Democrats, but they changed it. And it's like he's one of those guys. Like he's got political juice at home. I mean, the thing is, he's pretty popular. They all know him. And Joe Manchin is the guy that I complained about years ago. That when he was running for Senate, he was the governor, I think, at the time. He's running for Senate. He took a copy of Obamacare, strapped it to a tree, and shot it with a deer rifle. That was a campaign commercial he did. Yeah. And I was like, you fucker, But he doesn't notice he didn't do it with an AR-15. Joe, it's just like, yeah, I mean, you can shit on Joe Manchin all you want, but basically, Danny, I think Joe Manchin is going to not suffer any consequences in West Virginia. And the reality is Joe Manchin's getting older. This is probably going to, in my opinion, probably his last term. And there's even been talk that Joe's not happy in Washington. He's not. He would rather maybe be governor again, because being the governor of West Virginia was fun. Like if you are from West Virginia and you want to be, and like you believe in West Virginia and live in West Virginia, being the governor of West Virginia is like being the mayor of New York. You're a fucking superstar. You fly all over that fucking state, rah 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 everything. And I guarantee you, he's not having such a good time in Washington because he's a jackass from West Virginia.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, there's my answer on Joe Manchin. I did not know. I suspected he would not have voted to convict Trump. There's breaking news from chief political correspondent Danny. I had no idea.
You know, when you get my bill for the overtime I put in this week, I mean, between the acquittal vote, the State of the Union, the Democrat debate, I tell you, I'm going in 15 different directions.
Dude, I have to admit.
What you're saying is when you submit your bill for the overtime, that means you get an extra 30-round mag at the range this week?
No, I'll probably get stuck with a bill for dinner. Well, I'm getting stuck with a bill for dessert, too.
Okay, that could be.
Thanks.
Right, look, I will admit, since I know we have Danny on board, some of this stuff, I have to admit, I'm like, Danny's got it. I'm personally not interested in the Democratic debates.
No.
I mean, I didn't even watch Trump's speech. I did not watch Trump's State of the Union address. I caught the highlights. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stay up that late. No. I've got to work on the website and work on John 19.
Are you talking about the speech at the prayer breakfast? Where
you know what? I'm gonna make this point about that. I don't know if it was the prayer breakfast or if it was at the like his press conference, or maybe it's like in the East Wing or whatever he had afterwards. But everybody expected. Look, let's be real. Give Trump credit here. We all know who Trump is. I mean, Trump's kind of a gangster, right? And it would not have been out of character for Trump. Like, they're like, oh, he didn't shake Pelosi's hand and she ripped up the speech and all this goofy bullshit.
Yeah, whatever.
But you know what? He showed up. Well, hold on. He showed up. He read his speech. He basically did his Oprah shtick. You get a medal. You get a whatever. You get a husband back from Iraq. You get a scholarship, and and that was all great. It was interesting and great. You get promoted the flag officer and all that stuff. But it would not have been totally unexpected for Donald Trump to walk up there, look at Nancy, look at the Democratic side of the house, and go, "Fuck all you motherfuckers." Literally, he could have said.
Well, he did in essence.
And like, seriously, he could have been like, "Fuck you." Like, and he literally, like, Donald Trump, those words could have come out of his mouth. And everybody was like,
well,
oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And you know what? To his credit, he waited until we had a press conference at the White House to say this was all bullshit.
So where do you think Vindman's going to be reassigned?
Vindman will end up, Lieutenant Colonel non-promotable, will probably end up as an assistant, whatever, to some commanding general in some command. And probably on the East Coast. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, probably on the East Coast, and until they can figure out what they're going to do with him. And he's now probably Lieutenant Colonel, non-promotable, I would think. But it depends on how the Pentagon views his actions and his activities, because a lot of people don't in the military. There's only so many set slots. People forget this. There's only so many privates, down to the number. There's only so many privates set by Congress, and money's allocated. And as you go up higher in rank, there's only so many, sergeant majors and so many majors and so many light colonels and 1 stars and 2 stars. And Vindman, my real question is Vindman Lieutenant Colonel promotable at the next promotions board, or is he Lieutenant Colonel not promotable? And if he's not promotable, and he ends up, even if he doesn't retire and he stays in grade, you're only allowed so much time in grade for age that you automatically get rotated to inactive ready reserve and go and basically kick you out. I mean, you're still like colonel, but you're out.
Be transferred to some remote post if they felt like it?
Yeah. I mean, Trump ultimately, as the commander in chief, could theoretically say, I want that dude at Thule Station in frickin' at Greenland. Even like, that's an Air Force base. It's like, well, fuck you. We need a goddamn light colonel up there from the Army. He could do it, but then there would be allegations of undue influence and all that.
They're there now.
He got involved in Eddie Gallagher and the Secretary of the Navy And, at some point, you have to, I believe in the political accountability of the civilian authority to the military. And, this idea that like Colonel so-and-so is unaccountable because we just have to let the Pentagon handle this internally. It's like, no, you have to not get the ire of the American public.
Yeah, that's true.
And I actually, what's nice about Trump is he actually does this shit publicly, because here's how it used to work before Donald Trump was president. George Bush or Barack Obama was great for this. We will hold those responsible accountable. And, accountable was code for we were going to punish these people, but no one ever got punished. A Lois Lerner from the IRS, hold those people accountable. Yeah, what happened to her?
Nothing.
I mean, Lois Lerner did not get frog marched out of the IRS.
Yeah.
No, but Vindman did.
Vindman did, and they're real big on that. And it's like Trump's real big on those optics because he's a gangster. And it's like, politically speaking, it makes little people like me feel like he cares about me and my feelings and makes me happy. And so I'm like, yeah, if a colonel has to kill his career,
but at the end of the White House doors, did they break his sword like the TV show Branded and hand it to him?
Oh God, hold on. Let me see. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. Here's my real question: Is he a West Point grad? That'll make it. Alexander Vindman. Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harvard. He went to Harvard, so he is not doesn't look like he went to West Point. So he's not a ring knocker. So that will hurt him. That will hurt him in the. Looks like he has a Purple Heart.
Okay.
He's got a CIB and a Purple Heart. It looks like. I'm looking at his record here, but he looks like he's not a ring knocker. So the long gray line isn't going to take care of him. So he's in trouble. So he could. Well, fuck. He was born in Ukraine. He's actually born in Ukraine.
That's
so you're trying to say his options are limited.
Okay. His options are limited. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna have to wrap this one up because I'm about ready to lose you guys. So literally, I just lost one of my microphones. So.
Okay.
So this wraps up episode 161 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to see any more pictures, stories, or links of anything we discussed, you can go to our website, john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.
Bye-bye.